May profits be upon you. Welcome to this week's kind of midweek analysis. But what we're doing is what I'm trying to get done here today is get the message across. The forecast for from last weekend, from Saturday and Sunday's posted videos, which I will leave uh, links to at the in the description of this video and or on your screen at the end of this video. All right. Um, what I'm trying to get you to see is that the forecast hold and steady as she goes. Let's trade that forecast. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. I'm going to go through every last one of the ones covered in the forecast in those two videos. I'm going to do it in one. All right. So buckle up, buckle up, buckle up. Let's go. Buckle up. All right. Starting with the equities markets. Now, we received some good news overnight. That's why you see this bullish candle on the daily here on the S&P. All right, we're looking at the daily time frame. You can see that we had some tariff news. Trump is putting out that uh, he's working out a tariff deal with a major company and a major country, and that's probably the UK. And it's probably going to take a couple of years to hash out a real deal, but they're working on the framework of it. And he puts out these kind of tweets and stuff as a uh, to manipulate the market, and it works. He's trying to calm the markets down. All right, but we also received news from the Fed that they're not going to raise the rates. They kept it as steady as she goes, and inflation is relatively stable, but it's higher than the target of 2.0, right? 2%. That it's at so they don't see any rush in raising the rates. All right, so that news was bullish for the U.S. dollar. Now let's go to the equity markets. All right, we're positive. We're moving up. What I gave these targets here as the buy side liquidity targets. I'm looking for prices to move up towards it. That's it. All right. I'm looking for buys. All right. You're going to get a very nice signal once we reach that high. We push up. We may take out this high. We push up, take out that high, respond to it, and then get in another trade for that high. We can just push straight through, but I'm bullish in this market. All right. All right. Let's see. The NASDAQ, very much similar, even though you can see we had some S&T or divergence going into this market. You see the high being reached. We are already in the monthly bearish fair value gap. I believe that our price would push through until we reached this high. We are on our way in a good way, a very nice way. And we ran into this bearish fair value gap here. And I always say that those are speed bumps. When they're old, they're always speed bumps. We respond to it and push higher. That's exactly what's happening. Okay, let's go to the Dow. The Dow is the only one that was dealing with this weekly fair value gap. And I said that we'll probably the Dow will probably follow the other two, the S&P and the NASDAQ, and that's exactly what it's doing. It's getting ready to reach that high here. All right, for buy side liquidity, we're probably going to end up bumping into this this daily volume imbalance. All right, we'll probably respond to it, taking out this weekly fair value gap and continue higher to these highs. All right, that's what I'm looking for. All right, buys in the equity markets. Let's go to gold. Gold is turning out to be some spot on analysis because I pointed out this daily fair value gap. I pointed out this range from this low, the swing low to the swing high. Put the fibs on it. Bam. All right. From that low to that high, I said we'll probably run into the fair value gap, which is intersected with the 50% of the range. All right. Once price goes past that 50%, we're in the discount range, and that's where you want to look for your your buys. All right. Now, the way you want to look for those buys, you go down to the 1 hour, and what you're looking for is a break of structure. All right. Market structure shift. You want to see this bearishness turn to bullishness, but you wait for structure breaks. All right. We could very well come back in here for another toe tap in the bullish fair value gap, the daily, and then we see markets turn around, or we can come back up. We can come back up to the bearish fair value gap here, and that triggers the markets to come back down to this low, and then we go back up. All right, we've taken out this low. That gave room for a price to pull back, but we haven't, you know, completed that climb yet. But I'm not buying or selling this market yet. We come down here, that's when I'll be interested in buying this market. All right, we come up here until we get past. We get a reaction from this bearish fair value gap. I'm not interested in taking buys into that bearish fair value gap. I am not, especially when the equity markets are moving hot. All right, to the upside. All right, if we look at silver, silver is the clearest between these two metals in its structure. You can see we're dealing with this weekly fair value gap here, and in my market analysis from the weekend, I said that we're probably going to have a bearish reaction to it. If we go to the weekly, you can see that we never ever closed past that weekly fair value gap here. All right, we came in, we closed below it. I pointed out that closed below the previous week's low, and I said, yeah, that's a good trigger for a down move, right? Yes. Sorry for all the stuttering and stammering. It's a little early for me. So we can see that price reached back up, and you can see the bears came back into play. I'm looking for price to head towards this low as a liquidity target. We got to get past this low first. All right, we got to get past this low first. But I think once we close past yesterday's low, that we're going to establish the low of the week. I do believe that. We'll see how it goes. All right. But if we go to the platinum's playing out pretty much the exact same way. All right. We hit this bearish fair value gap on the daily, which is inside of the weekly fair value gap. I said we would. This one is playing out, taking a long time to play out, but it is playing out according to the analysis. All right. We have a bearish reaction. We pull back up, and then we again get another bearish reaction. I'm thinking that this will continue. All right, until it breaks this high, which is the most recent high before it breaks this low. All right, if we get a break here, this turns into supply, and I'll be waiting for price to come back up before taking another high probability trade to the downside. But yeah, it's all it's all sells from here, all sells. If we go, that was copper. This is platinum. All right, platinum is moving to the side. I'm not in love with that kind of price action when it's moving to the side. So I wait for a confirmation to the downside. All right, there was a bearish fair value gap here. It closed that bearish fair value gap, and we finally get a close. We didn't get a close yet, not on this weekly candle because the candle's still completing out. But if it takes out this high, I'm going to be looking at buys. All right, but right now it's not in a good decisive place, being that it's moving to the side. If we take out this low, then this becomes our supply area, and I'll be waiting for price to come back here to continue down. Yes, that would be a high probability trade. If it breaks that high, then it's probably going to be buys, and this will be the target, the high over here. Okay, so bears watching. Oil. I didn't give a oil forecast because it did what it did. It did what it did here. It hit that bearish fair value gap here, and I was looking for that bearish reaction. They gave that bearish reaction, but we've been hold up this week here. All right, I'm just looking at just thinking about the fundamentals. Uh, I was thinking that price would continue to get weak and we would head towards these lows, but it's been moving sideways. I'm not interested in taking any trades in this market right now. All right, because it's indecisive. All right, if we go to the U.S. dollar index, you can see overnight. I'm going to run through these. You can see overnight we had a very price move yesterday bullishly, and we had some continuation of that bullishness. All right. But what my forecast says that it's supposed to be heading down. All right. That's what my forecast gave. All right. We had 2 bullish days. All right. But we're still below this low. All right. Now, what did I mention in that forecast? I said there's a good chance price comes back up in a little bit higher into this bearish week daily fair value gap, which overlaps the weekly fair value gap. All right, so we can see price take out this high. This is what I mentioned in that forecast. We can see price take out this high. So if we get that high taken out, I'd be looking for some more bearishness. This this day is a continuation from the news from the Fed, yes, but I don't think that's going to carry over all the way up, because that would push the equity markets down. I think the fundamentals support bullishness and optimism in the market. So I'm looking for this to turn around, and I think that's going to happen after we take out this high and possibly come into contact with the daily fair value gap. All right, if we look at the euro, all right, we can see it moving sideways here, right? We can see it moving sideways, and I said that we should be moving higher because I'm expecting weakness in the U.S. dollar, and we're still dancing on this weekly fair value gap. It's finding true support here, having trouble penetrating it. I think we're going to turn around on that. Look for it. Look for it. All right. If we continue down into the weekly fair value gap, look for this low to get taken, because this is where the daily fair value gap is, and I do expect that to find the price to find support once it reaches that. But until then, I'm looking for yesterday's highs to be taken out, and more bullishness in the Euro USD. If we look at the pound, same deal. I said that if we sweep the lows first, that would be preferable, so that we can take higher probability trades to the upside, all right, to take out that high. So that's what I'm looking for in that. Okay. If we look at New Zealand dollar, all right, I think the bearishness to these lows, same deal, bearishness to these lows. That's when I would start to look for buys. I wouldn't take buys here. And if you want to take sells, you can. I can see why somebody would, but as long as that this low holds, I'm not interested in taking any buys from current prices. I'd wait until liquidity is taken first, and then I'd be interested in buys. I'm not interested in any sells from here, because as long as that low holds, that's a protective low in my opinion. All right, as long as that low holds, uh, uh, you know, I'm just not going to take any buy. I'm not taking any buys. No, I am not. Let's go to the Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar, you can see it's chopped its way up, after taking out the buy side liquidity here. And I expect more bullishness to come, because I think the U.S. equities are going to show weakness. We are running into this order block here, and you see how price paused at it. All right, I'm looking for price to possibly find its footing and continue higher. I don't think we have to sweep these lows into this weekly fair value gap down here. It'd be nice. It would be nice, but I don't think it's necessary. Um, there is an order block here, and I'm looking for that low, the swing low, and the most recent low before that structure was broken. I'm looking for that to hold, and as long as that holds, I'll be looking for buys. That's my opinion. The CAD, Canadian dollar. Uh, you can see the low hanging fruit here. I'm definitely looking for a sweep of these lows first before I look for the markets to move higher. There is a weekly fair value gap uh, overlapped by a daily fair value gap there. That I find very attractive. All right, and I would definitely start looking for uh, buys once those lows are swept and we can start moving higher. If it makes it down to the fair value gaps, all right, that would, in my opinion, that would take some time, and that might happen if it continues bearishly. Then that's fine. But these are higher probability trades to the upside, in my opinion. All right. But after the sweep of those lows, that's when I would start to look for buys. All right. If we go down to the Swiss franc, you can see how the market is playing out here. I pointed out this in the forecast. There was an area of demand here. All right. The sell before the buy up. All right. And you can see how price is dancing on that right here. And I pointed out that we might have been a tick off from it reaching the actual demand zone. So a sweep of these lows would be sweet to me. But that's when I would think we'll have a higher probability trade to the upside. Instead of taking longs from here, I'm looking for longs from here. All right, that's the safest bet in my opinion. All right, because I believe the CAD will outperform the US dollar. All right, and if we go to the Japanese yen, the last one, if we go to the weekly real quick, we can see that this sell before the stronger buy happened. All right. And what do we expect after a sell before the stronger buy? Well, it forms an area of demand. And that's it right here. And once price reaches back into that demand, I'm looking for price to find its footing for higher prices. And that is what we're getting here. You see the reaction here last week, and this is this week. All right. We saw some continuation, but the bears came back into the play. And if we go to the daily, we can see the bullish reaction here. All right. It didn't take out the high. We have two bearish days reacting here of the US dollar gaining some steam. All right, this is today's candle. No, this is yesterday's candle. Why is it giving me this delay on the day? I don't understand that. All right, so yeah, because today's Thursday. What am I thinking? All right, so that was yesterday's candle. This is today's candle. We've seen the US dollar pull the Japanese yen down. Perhaps we go for that sweep into the demand, take out that low, that important low before prices pull back up, because I do believe prices are going to pull back up because I think weakness is coming to the US dollar against the yen. And I do believe these targets will hold. And could it happen from this low? Can we could it turn around here? Yes. If we get a break of market structure or a market structure shift to the upside from bearish to bullish, if we get that market structure shift, sure. But the higher probability trades are probably after this low. All right. We didn't reach that objective yet. Still believe that is the draw on liquidity. So I would love to see a low taken first for a higher probability trade to the upside. All right. I think taking the trade from here, unless it shows a definitive market structure shift from bearish to bullish, where this low, it's that high is taken.